Week 9 had some huge losers. Some teams fired their head coach. Other teams, they're sticking with being mediocre. Let's start with the Chicago Bears. 4-2 after the bye week. Your offense is humming. Defense is playing at a high level. And Washington Commanders, rookie versus rookie, number 1 overall pick versus number 2 overall pick, and you shit the bed. Hail Mary loss. Seconds left in the game. Just a devastating, disappointing loss for the Chicago Bears, who put themselves in position to win the game, although they didn't deserve to win that football game. And just that loss, it looked like it lingered on into the next week. The Cardinals, you had players before this game calling out coaching decisions, and in the game against the Cardinals, it looked like the team gave up on Eberflus and they didn't want to play for him. I mean, you give up a 53-yard touchdown before the half. You know, the Cardinals just trying to run the clock out. A 53-yard rushing touchdown. You give that up. That just showed how much this Bears team doesn't want to play for Eberflus no more. I know winning can cure everything, but I mean, will a win against New England save the season? I don't know. You got Green Bay and Minnesota after the New England game. So the margin of error is no longer there. You can't afford to lose to Minnesota and Green Bay no more. You got the 49ers. You got Detroit Thanksgiving. So you can't afford to lose some of these games if you want to compete and go into the playoffs. And how this team is looking right now, it looks like they're ready for an upgrade at their coaching staff. And what just doesn't make sense to me, how the Bears saw the Saints fire their coach, saw the Raiders fire Luke Getsy, which is just ironic. Saw these coaches get fired. Eberflus has done less than Dennis Allen. Eberflus has lost 18 road games on Sunday. So 0-18 on the road on Sunday. Eberflus also has 4 of the worst losses on his resume. Lost 4 games with a 90% or higher chance to win the football game. We can't keep this guy in as our head coach. If you aren't going to fire your head coach midseason, whatever. Bears never do that. Why would I expect them to do what they're supposed to do? At least make some kind of change. At least have a new play caller. At least allow Thomas Brown to be the play caller. Or Kerry Joseph. Give somebody else the play calling reins. Because what Shane Waldron is doing, it's inexcusable. How come after the bye week you put up 2 terrible offensive performances? You give the ball to an offensive lineman at the goal line in a situation where you need a touchdown. This is not a situation where you're up 30 or this is an opportunity for you to do something like that. This is a situation where you need a touchdown. Your offense hasn't done shit all game. Stupid ass play call. How this offense looked after the bye week, it definitely deserves some change. Cole Kmet getting 0 targets. 0 touches. He was out there just doing cardio. That's inexcusable. You got DJ Moore walking off the field during the play as Caleb Williams is scrambling trying to throw the ball. Just how this offense has looked. Change needed to happen. And Eberflus said he's sticking with the same thing. We're going to move forward. Whatever. I don't know if this team will show up to play against New England for Eberflus or because they probably know if they lose to New England, Eberflus is going to get canned. I don't know what the Bears do to move forward right now. It's looking like the season's over already, so they are the biggest loser from week 9. The Saints fired Dennis Allen. This definitely was a reasonable move. You know, the Saints started off 2-0. This team looked like a Super Bowl contender. I know, crazy to say. And then they lost 7 straight games. They lost to the Carolina Panthers with Bryce Young, a guy they fucking benched earlier on in the season. So the Saints, defensively, that's what Dennis Allen has been able to hang his head on. You know, I'm a really good defensive-minded coach. The defense has always been solid, but the performances they've been putting up the last 3 games, they've been getting blown the fuck out. Spencer Rattler, I know he was probably in over his head being in at quarterback with Derek Carr hurt, but giving up 51 points to the Bucs and then getting blown out by the Chargers, losing to the Panthers was icing on the cake, so that can't happen. The Saints should definitely be doing a fire sale. They said they're probably not, but everybody should be getting traded. This team is $80 million over the cap for next season. They're in a worse situation cap-wise than the Cleveland Browns, who gave Deshaun Watson the worst contract in NFL history. So not in a good spot at all. So they should try to get rid of some of these older players. Marshawn Lattimore, Tyrann Mathieu, Demario Davis, Cam Jordan, all these players need to go. You need to rebuild because you can't do the same shit you've been doing every year. Just working on these contracts, getting them just to the right amount, the perfect amount where you can keep everybody around and just be mediocre every season. That can't happen. Right now, you have the same record as the Carolina Panthers, so you need to do some digging and do some kind of change this season. But right now, the Saints are another huge loser. Losing to Carolina definitely sealed Dennis Allen's fate. So even the Chicago Bears beat the Carolina Panthers. The Indianapolis Colts definitely made the wrong decision benching Anthony Richardson, especially for a game where they would definitely need his playmaking ability. They would need his ability to, just be an impact in the run game. Jonathan Taylor, he's definitely a better running back when he has a mobile quarterback with Joe Flacco, a statue in the pocket. It really showed that they couldn't really run the ball. He wasn't as effective. Joe Flacco, I know he's a little more accurate, and some of the stuff he was doing offensively with the Colts, the couple games he was in, it's not really sustainable. And against the Minnesota Vikings, we saw that right off the bat. Joe Flacco put up a stinker. He led the Colts to 6 points. They had a defensive touchdown, but the Vikings really held him in check. And Michael Pittman, only two targets, 2 catches, 14 yards. So I really thought Michael Pittman would have a better game with, Anthony Richardson out. And, obviously the receivers were unhappy with the production they were getting with Anthony Richardson in. But Joe Flacco, it really didn't look like a change. He struggled, and he's a better quarterback in this offense on third down situations. But in the earlier downs, he really does, Anthony Richardson, the playmaker he is, it's better to have a guy out there like that. And it's just ironic to see, after them making this decision, getting Joe Flacco in there to start a quarterback, a 40-year-old quarterback, for them to have a good shot to make the playoffs and to stack some wins, and they come out and shit the bed. Put up 6 points offensively. I mean, Anthony Richardson, the lowest amount of points he had offensively was 10. Hey. So, really, this isn't that much better having Flacco in there. I know the Vikings are a good defense, but it just shows you that Joe Flacco, his Linsanity run is unsustainable. They could have just had Anthony Richardson still out there, getting him those reps that he needs. I think Anthony Richardson would have gave the Colts a better opportunity to win this football game against the Minnesota Vikings. He's just a tougher player to game plan for, and he's throwing 300-pound defense alignment off him. You don't get that with Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco got sacked 3 times. Hopefully the Colts let Anthony Richardson get back out there moving forward, because I do think this is a guy that could be a generational player. He just needs the right support. He just needs to be in the right situation. Look at Malik Willis, what he's done with the Packers. He looks better in the offense than Jordan Love. Bryce Young, he's been playing a little better since Andy Dalton got hurt. He got his first dub this season, did victory formation for the first time. Exciting for him. But yeah, it just takes some development there. You got to work through these growing pains. You got to allow these quarterbacks to make mistakes, and you got to allow these quarterbacks to actually reach their fullest potential. And you're not going to get that starting a veteran quarterback over them and a 40-year-old statue quarterback, to say the least. Some people thought the NFC North was going to be the worst division in football this season. They thought it was going to be as bad as the NFC South.